Cool, so the first important thing to know is using the ACE MicroDAGR and the ACE Vector to find coordinates for targets. This will be important because you'll need to feed these coordinates to artillery operators for them to give fire missions, or accurate fire missions. So first off, you open up the MicroDAGR using self-interact, equipment, configure MicroDAGR. You get this lovely display. You can also pull up a compass and a map, but we want this page for this use. This gives you your 10-digit grid and your elevation, but we can get the 10-digit grid and elevation of any target that we laser designate, any target that we range, by connecting this to the vector. So we do that by clicking up on the time and clicking connect to. And now, because I have a vector in my inventory, it's automatically connected, and you can tell because this bottom section has changed. So I'm going to exit out of that and press B to pull out my vector, and we're gonna use, let's use that church as a target, because no, I can't see it very well. Let's use that yellow house as a target. So holding R gives you a range to the target, lovely, so we know that's 970 meters away. Holding tab gives you a bearing, that's 17 degrees. However, the fun thing is if you hold both together, so that's tab and R, and release, you get both the bearing and range, whoop-de-doo, but that data is corroborated with each other. So by knowing both the range and the bearing to the precise same point, the MicroDAGR can calculate that point's grid relative to you. So as you can see on the right now, at the bottom I now have a range, elevation and grid for that position I have just lased. If you're passing this information on to someone, make sure you give the bottom bit of information, not the top. The top information is still your coordinates, so if you accidentally give your coordinates as an artillery fire mission, yeah, that'll end badly. Next up, the UAV operator will also be able to provide some accurate grids, so they can provide scouting and help you destroy targets maybe that aren't priority. So if there's an artillery site, a AAA site you need to neutralise, but you don't want to send a squad up there to go kill it because they're busy, you can send a drone up to recce it, get a grid, and then kill it with artillery. So as you can see, I'm a UAV operator, but I don't have a UAV backpack. That's because ITC adds better drones that fit in your backpack. So I have 2 AR2I Data 2s in my backpack. To assemble them, you self-interact, go to equipment, unpack, and then you can unpack the drone there. And from there, they act like normal UAVs. So you can connect terminal to UAV, and then I can open the UAV terminal and order it to go over here at 500 meters. The benefit to these is 1, you can carry more than one on you at a time, and 2, if you take the turret control, you see at the bottom of the display I have 10-digit grids for both the UAV and anything I'm looking at. So if we look at that house again, my grid is the grid of the target is 02681 05545. You can also use Control T to point to lock the target. So I'm moving my mouse frantically and it won't move. And you can also use left click to laser designate targets. So another fun toy that Command and Squad Leader will have access to is the Rover. Rover is sort of a data link piece of equipment that allows you to view the camera of any aircraft. So that's drones and the helicopters. If they have a camera and the camera's laser designator is on, that's the sticking point, the laser designator must be on, you can view the view through that camera. So we've got that drone still up, but looking at that yellow house with its laser designator on. I've made sure to use Control T to lock the laser, otherwise when I left control, the laser would just revert to the horizon. So that drone is locked onto that house. I'm going to left control windows to go equipment and open Rover LAD. You've got no connection right now, but if on this top left area you select the aircraft you want to use, so in this case the AR2I Data, you'll get a nice view through the camera. So I can't control this, but I can control my zoom, control white heart, black heart, night, daylight TV, and see what the drone is seeing. So next up is the artillery. It's important the artillery operator knows what they're doing. So if you have any questions, make sure to message me on Discord. I'm Benny Southstreet. And make sure you get a little bit of practice in first. ITC systems, which is what we're using for the artillery, can get very complex with artillery. We don't need to worry about any of the complex stuff. A lot of that isn't relevant to what we're doing, but the options are still there, so they can catch you off guard if you don't know what you're doing. Just make sure you follow this guide, don't fuck with anything else, and if you get some practice in, if you can't figure it out, let me know, because it's important you know how to do this, or you'll have no artillery for the entire mission. So what I've done, I've written down the coordinates to that yellow house we've been looking at on my phone in front of me. So we can pretend that's a target that's been called in by another squad that they want blowing up. So what I'm going to do is, just like the vanilla artillery, I'm going to open the UAV terminal and connect to, we'll start with the artillery gun and control the gunner. From there, I want to interact, and I can open the mounted tablet. This is how you calculate your fire missions. You've got two options, App 1 and App 2. Now App 2 is for like battery control, which allows you to do fancy stuff like multiple guns, firing sheaths, or very complex stuff that will be out of the scope of this mission. You only need to worry about App 1. Here you want to stay on the FCI page. This page does literally nothing. And it's very simple. You just put in the target position here, target elevation here, and you select what type of round you want to fire. So this is your choice of rounds: HE, smoke, GPS, laser, and illuminated. So I'm going to type in the grid of that yellow house, which is 02687 05553. I've got a 10-digit grid. You can use any number of digits as long as it's even. You can theoretically leave a space in the middle. It fucks on with the cruise missiles though. If you leave a space, it breaks the cruise missile, so just good practice, don't leave the space. Then elevation, which you also get from the dagger or the drone, is 218. And let's fire smoke. We'll fire a nice spread of smoke. You then hit calculate SLN, which stands calculate solution, and then on the right it will calculate a solution for you, a fire solution. You can change the solution using next and previous. The only things you need to consider for our purposes is the quadrant and the time of flight, or TOF. Quadrant is the elevation of the gun. It probably won't come into play with Chernarus, but if your target is behind a mountain and the elevation of your gun is too low, your rounds might hit the side of the mountain instead of going over the mountain and hitting the target. So consider that. And also the time of flight is how long it takes till your rounds hit the target. You might want to minimize it or make it longer for some reason. But basically look around, find a solution you want. So I'm going to choose this one, 57 second time of flight, because I want the time to be able to tutorialize. Now all I need to remember is the charge. Okay, all of this will be automatically logged for me when I go to fire the gun. I just need to remember the charge. That's the only thing I need to manually set. So I'm going to just press escape to exit out of this. And then I'm going to interact and go to the ammo handling interface. And this is where you actually choose which rounds you want to fire. So we've got this number of this many rounds. You've got HE, which you can set with all these different settings. Delay, so it will blow up a certain amount of time after it hits the ground. Time, so that'll be a certain amount of time after it's fired, it'll explode, useful for airburst. Proximity, which is, I think, automatic airburst, just standard point. Smoke, you've only got time, so you need to... the smoke is sort of like a cluster. The shell will explode mid-air and scatter some, basically like mini smoke grenades over the area. So if you're... So you need to make sure that, say, our time of flight is 57 seconds, so I'll set the time to 55 seconds, so 3 seconds before impact, the shell will explode and scatter the smoke. Illumination, pretty simple, the same concept. You want to make sure that that time isn't 0, otherwise it will immediately illuminate out of the barrel and won't go anywhere. GPS, that is GPS guided. You also get proximity, delay, and point options, except if you type in a target grid here, the round will auto-correct its trajectory, so it will guarantee hit that grid, which with a 10-grid grid can be, I think that's what, a meter precision. You can be very accurate with these, but you only get 12 of them. And same with laser guided, you get all these other options. You don't know about laser codes, that's something ACE is planning on implementing, I think. Just leave it on 1111. But that will follow a laser when it spots a laser. So like I said, we're going to do a smoke round. And I said the only thing you need to remember is charge. and we had charge 3, so we're going to set this to charge 3. 1, 2, 3, charge 3, make sure that's right. And because it's a smoke round, we need to decide at what point we want to make it detonate and scatter those smoke shells like I explained earlier. So time of flight was 57 seconds, so let's do 54 seconds. So about what, 3 seconds before impact, it will scatter its smoke, so we won't get a massive spread. Obviously, if you're doing just standard HE explode on the ground, you don't need to worry about that. Then we'll fire the number of select the count is the number of shells you want to fire. So let's pick 4. And once you've verified that's all right, you click apply settings. It plugs the settings into here. Again, double check this is right, because it's sometimes like if you leave the gun and get back in, it might have the wrong round selected, despite the UI being wrong. Just double check it's right here, and then click load. And you see at the bottom here, it's ramming shells, closing breach. There we are, ready to fire, 1 out of 4. I can then close this, and now I'm ready to fire. All I've got to do is line up, you can see left and right of the reticule, there's CA and CQ. CA is something azimuth, and CQ is for your quadrant. The numbers below them are the targets, so that's the same numbers that you set in the mountain. That's these same numbers here. So like I said, you didn't need to remember those. All you've got to do is line up the gun, so CA is the same as MA, and MQ is the same as CQ, so I need 374, and then use page up, page down to get the quadrant to be the same. When it gets there, this is quite a high quadrant, so it will take a while to get there. Also note, if you exit the gun, these values will reset, so make sure you've got all the information you need recorded before you start slowing the gun around. And then when you get closer to the target, if you hold shift, the numbers increase and decrease more slowly. Once the numbers line up, you're ready to fire, you just click to fire, fires 1 round, it'll then load the next round. Let's fire again, that's 2. And when the next round's loaded, 3. And then when the next round's loaded, 4. And then it won't let me fire any more rounds. I fired 4 rounds, that mission is complete. I'm clicking now, I can't fire any more rounds. We need to do a new fire mission to fire more rounds. So if I go back to observing, no, I didn't bother recording how long of all time I've been waiting, but in a couple of seconds the smoke rounds should start dispersing. So like I said, if this was a much more, there we are, as you can see they're getting to about there, 3 seconds before impact, then they're splitting and spreading the smoke over the area. Right, so finally, there's someone we really don't like at the yellow house, so we're going to blow it up with a cruise missile. The cruise missile is a lot easier, a lot simpler than the artillery, but it's less flexible. It's a big boom, so you can't use it inside towns or in sort of danger close situations. It's normally got a longer time of flight, and you can only use GPS guided on it. So just like the artillery just like the artillery gun, you open the UAV terminal, connect to the cruise missile launcher, control the gunner, and then interact to open the VLS interface. From here, you just type in the target grids. So in this case, this is 02687. Make sure you don't leave the space, that breaks the cruise missiles. 05553, elevation of 218. Angle is the angle that the missile will hit the target. So high means it comes in from a 75-degree angle, normal 45, low 25. It's useful if there's like trees or something on the target, you don't want to hit the trees. I'm going to put it on normal. And you can give it a name if you want. Then you can either hit save to list, which will add it to the list here. Then you can select it and click launch selected. Or you can just put the coordinates directly in here and then click ad hoc launch, and it will launch using these coordinates here. So I'm going to do an ad hoc launch. So here that missile is away. So you can see it going. Not from here. I'm going to go back to observing. Like I said, these subsonic cruise missiles with quite a long time of flight. We're quite close to the ship, so it shouldn't take too long, but still, we could get artillery on target a lot quicker, so this isn't ideal for troops in contact. And here it is coming in now. You can see it going overhead. And because I've given it those coordinates, it's going to come in for 45-degree attack, and boom, there goes that house. Cool, so yeah, that's the artillery stuff. Like I said, it's important you know how to use this, get some practice in artillery operator. because you will be very important. If you get any questions, ask me. There's no such thing as a stupid question, because there is a lot of complex systems here which can get confusing. Just give it a try. If you get any problems, let me know.